Welcome everyone to episode 419. It's a beautiful Thursday. Papa Swole's out, no doubt. Rocking the hammer curl shirt on. What up, Thor? What up, Papa Swole? What up, buddy? Making sick freaking gains, and I hope you are making sick fucking gains.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Drinking my coffee, and the sun is coming out, giving me some sick energy, and the coffee is kicking in, and the caffeine is coursing through my veins. So welcome everyone to episode 419 of the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thank you for joining me every day at live here at 12 noon Eastern time. Thanks for catching all the episodes on YouTube and listening to the Swolecast, the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Wesley, what's going on? Oliver, holla, Oliver. Rolling it out today. Rolling it out. What's going on, fam? What's going on? Who's drinking coffee right now? Some of you are on the West Coast, it's 9 a.m. Some of you that are in Sweden, it's probably 6 p.m. But no matter where you are, you're getting gains. I know you are. So float some hearts, float some thumbs if you already got your workout in today. I have not, but I'm looking forward to getting it in later today. Last night in the workshop, which was awesome, we talked about optimizing health and nutrition. Yesterday at 12 on the Daily Swole, here we talked about guys and gals getting it yoked, getting it done in the kitchen. Today's episode, if you caught the title, is guys and gals getting yoked in the gym. And no, David, no rain today. I hear thunder though, so there's definitely rain. It's South Florida, it's the summer. There's rain, it's just not necessarily right here, right now. So it's coming, it's coming. Noon, still drinking coffee. Elimination diet, no coffee. Beard is on point. Well, thanks, Case. Thank you. Thank you. I take pride in this bad boy. I decided to make it look sexy for y'all. Let's talk a little bit about guys and girls getting yoked in the gym. So touched upon this a little bit yesterday, especially because I was discussing why women need to be thinking muscle growth, why guys need to be thinking muscle growth, because building muscle is what's going to force, is that the right word? Building muscle is what's going to corral your body into increasing metabolism, into increasing fat metabolism throughout the rest of the day. Building muscle is going to help you be leaner. And what you see and what I see from a training standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from from just like the overall painting, the picture of fitness, I see a lot of people trying to lose weight without building. They're afraid of that building because they look at the scale and they kind of see their overall size. And one of the things that you get when you first start doing weight training is you start to build a little bit of size, because the fat doesn't just melt right off. You start to get a little inflammation, you start to build a little muscle, and what you get is a little bit maybe of like a thickening. And a lot of women say, oh, I don't lift weights because I get big right away. I'll start lifting weights, next week I'll looking puffier. That's because you're not burning the fat that's on top of the muscle. So you're not getting bigger, you're just inflamed, building some muscle and developing some tissue, and you look a little bit swollen. You're not bulking up. No one bulks up that quickly. So a lot of women that are afraid of training, it's because of this. My arms get really big really quick. I bet you wish that was the case, because it's not. It's an illusion. It's the way you feel, it's the swelling, it's the inflammation, it's the fat that's still on top of the muscle. Because it takes your body 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks to really get the wheels spinning and get momentum to having that increased metabolism, to having that new lean tissue, and to start shredding that extra fat on top. So it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time for you to get to that point. You can't just start working out and, hey, I'm lifting weights, all of a sudden I'm big and oh my God, I'm so bulky. It doesn't work like that. Like, I wish it worked like that. And I always tell people, if it was that easy to build muscle, everyone would have muscle. Like, I really wish it was that fucking easy to just, hey, I started lifting weights and man, now I'm so bulky, I'm so big, like I gotta stop lifting weights, I'm getting too big. Really? Who the hell in the world has said that? No one does, because it's really, really hard to build muscle. It's really, really, really hard to develop and build and to create. It's hard to create. If you think about crushing a building and just knocking down, abolishing a building and doing a demo, you have to set that up, but boom, the building comes down in 10 seconds. But to build something, to build a skyscraper, it might take a year or two. It might take 5 years. It takes time, because building, creation, takes it just takes time. Think about building a building and knocking it down and demoing it the same way your body has to deal, the way your body has to process building muscle. So the eating big, yesterday's episode, eating big to get big, and making sure you're getting enough protein, making sure you're getting enough carbs, making sure you're doing the right things in the kitchen to build muscle, but also in the gym. So ladies and guys alike, it takes time. So if you're trying to build physique, if you're trying to build a frame, and most of you that are watching things here on YouTube, or if you're watching this on YouTube, most of you that are watching things here on Facebook, on YouTube, you're watching fitness stuff on Instagram, you're watching a process that has taken years. You're watching a process that does not happen overnight. And a lot of things that you're looking at are things that you want. And it's physique oriented. What's really popular on Instagram is not, the huge massive bodybuilders. There's that niche as well. But the people that are like, they call it aesthetic, and that word has gotten super popular. And just think back to like Greek statues, proper proportions, lean, not too muscular, but everything's, in order, V-taper, good shape. And most of you want shape, but you're afraid to lift weights to get big. That's a lot of muscle mass. It doesn't look like a lot because they might weigh 160 pounds, 170 pounds, and they don't look that big. But there's a lot of dense muscle tissue that was built up over years and years. It doesn't happen overnight. If the person says they're 17 or 18, it's genetics, it's lighting, it's just the way it looks. They're not that muscular, because you can't put on muscle that quickly unless you're taking a lot of anabolics way too young, and that's super dangerous. So you have this culture that sees aesthetic as a positive, and it is. I mean, a lot of people want to look a certain way. I mean, we want to do this for life. We want to do this for health. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to look a certain way. It's just something you add onto it. It's like you want a car, you want a watch, you want a t-shirt. You want something. There's nothing wrong with wanting something, but you have to understand why you want it. And make sure that you're going after that look via the pathway of health and longevity. So if you start going after these aesthetic physiques, by being unhealthy, you're gonna have a rotten physique. You might look good on the outside, but your inside's gonna be rotten out, and you could be very unhealthy. You could have diseases, you could have issues moving forward because you got it in an unhealthy manner. But having an aesthetic of physique can correlate with a healthy lifestyle. So lifting to get that physique and get that body, you have to go heavy. You have to lift big. You have to do 6 repetitions, 7 repetitions, 8 repetitions, 10, but maximum sets like that to failure. You have to train hard. You have to train regularly. You have to segment body parts. You can't be doing total body workouts all the time. It's not going to be quite as effective as breaking down body parts, doing chest and triceps, or chest only, or chest and back, or legs on one day. There's a reason why people say arm day, leg day, chest day, because your body adapts to different levels and lower levels of volume and overload. Once you get to a certain point, your body needs to increase the stress. So you have to focus more time on less areas and develop more volume on those specific body parts. That's how the body works. That's how it goes down. That's why bodybuilders and pro bodybuilders, that's why people that have been lifting for years start doing these workouts where you're doing chest and back, or chest and biceps, or chest and shoulders, or chest only, or legs, or back day. You start hearing these things, you're seeing like hashtag back day or hashtag leg day. The reason is because these body parts require more volume. So whether you're a male or a female, my point is train the same. If you're a female, start training like a guy. And I'm not saying, oh, guys, start training like a girl, but start training like each other. Start training like human beings. Because just because a female doesn't have the same testosterone production, a woman naturally will not be able to build as much muscle as a man, on average, in the large scheme of things, because of hormone production. It's just the way we are. However, training that way will build muscle the same way a guy will build muscle. And women, pound for pound, have been proven to be stronger than dudes. Just absolute strength doesn't necessarily compare just because of natural evolution. But a man and a woman should train the same way. A woman should squat, a woman should lunge, a guy should squat, a guy should lunge, a woman should do bicep curls, a woman should do bench press, a woman should do barbell rows and deadlifts, and so should a dude. We're human beings. Now, just because a man will be able to put on more mass doesn't mean a woman shouldn't be doing these things to build muscle. Now, if you're a female and you have certain specific goals, and like, let's say you're a model, you don't want to get thick. I mean, a woman can build muscle in a thicker fashion if you're doing a lot of compound heavy movements. So it doesn't mean you have to do that all the time, but it means that muscle is going to be stimulated to grow the same way in a female as a male. You still have to do overload, you still have to do failure, you still have to do, hypertrophy style repetitions, 6 reps, 8 reps, 10 reps, 12, 15 to failure if you're a female to build muscle. Not this 20, 25 group exercise bullshit. You gotta lift fucking heavy. And a lot of women don't like that because you feel that, and women, listen, I'm telling you, you're not gonna like that because you're gonna feel that pump, you're gonna feel that tightness, and you're gonna get that transient hypertrophy, that thick pump feeling. And it's gonna feel like your arms are big, it's gonna feel like you're swollen. And at first you're like, oh my God, I'm getting thick, I'm getting big, I'm gonna be huge, oh my God, I'm gonna look like a man. Not gonna happen. Now, if you're not familiar with transient hypertrophy means muscle growth. It means the muscle cross-sectional area, like if you're looking down a muscle like a tube, like a straw. But transient is that period where it's flushed with blood. So it's like in the gym, you get a pump. When you leave, it goes away. And that's one of the signs when you know that someone's, likely taking some kind of anabolic steroid, is when they're looking pumped and like jacked all the time, like even when they're not in the gym. It doesn't work like that because your body isn't sending blood to the muscles because there's no need when you're not training. But women will get that feeling. You get that feeling of thickness, of tightness, of inflammation, and you'll feel like, oh my God, I'm huge, I'm gonna look like a dude. Not the case. Not the case. So if you're a female that lifts heavy, I want you to comment below. If you're a female that does not lift heavy, that's always been afraid of lifting weights, that's never done, weights or barbells or done anything like that, I want you to comment below. I want to know how many of you train heavy, lift weights. I want to hear how many of you do not lift heavy. And you know what? I might even be doing a poll. I might even be doing a poll right here on the page if I can. So stay tuned for some more information, but that's what I want to get across. Women have to lift heavy. I've done some other episodes in the past. Ladies lift heavy. You can search for them on YouTube. Just use the keyword plus the word Swolenormous in the YouTube search function. All my other episodes. But I've talked about this numerous times, and we're going to be getting more and more into it. So this week, we tie it in with the premium workshop. We tie it in nutrition and optimizing it with programming and training. Now I want to get a little bit more into training for this coming week. I want to talk a little bit more about strength training. I want to talk a little bit more about building muscle, because whether you want to get huge or whether you want to build a little bit, whether you want aesthetics and physique, it all comes down to one thing: building muscle. For all those cases, you need to build and to develop muscle. And building muscle doesn't have to be associated with getting absolutely fucking huge and getting as big as possible. That's a myth. You still have to develop muscle. You still have to activate the muscle. You still have to force the muscle to need to repair. And you still need to build muscle even if you want that long, lean muscle tissue. So there's many ways to build muscle, but there are some tried and true methods that will help you build muscle the most efficient way, and it's appropriate for men and women alike. So stay tuned for all the rest of the episodes this week. Thank you so much for joining for episode 419 of the Daily Mother Sleazy, the most muscular swole cast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex. These things right here. Thank you for joining me on this amazing Thursday. Thanks for joining for episode 419, episode 420 tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time, every day right here. Swolenormous on Facebook, 12 noon Eastern time. Catch every episode on YouTube at Swolenormous, and also you can listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes, so you can get your ear holes jammed with some knowledge nukes. Come on, fuck your ear holes, little Papa Swolio. On the daily. So stay tuned. It'll be up on the podcast very soon, and you can catch all the other episodes on YouTube and on the podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you have not yet left a review on iTunes or right here on my Facebook page, if you haven't dropped me an honest review right here on my Facebook page, please do so. You can scroll up to the top and hit reviews and leave a little comment for Papa Swole. I appreciate it. And guys and girls that lift heavy or don't lift heavy, I want to know what you do. Drop in the comments below. I'll see some of you a little bit later on Instagram stories for some live Q&A broadcasts. Follow me over there if you're not. Peace, my geese. Deuce, my goose. I'll see y'all tomorrow for episode 420. Peace.